I received a certified letter from First National Bank demanding immediate payment on a mortgage I never took out. $463,000. My hands shook as I read my own forged signature on loan documents dated 6 months ago. I called the bank, convinced it was identity theft. They confirmed the mortgage was real, attached to a property at 847 Maple Ridge Drive. I recognized that address instantly. It was my younger sister, Madison's new house, the house my parents helped her buy. My stomach dropped as the truth crashed down. The moment I hung up with the bank, my entire body went numb. I stood in my small apartment, staring at the letter, trying to make sense of what I was reading. $463,000. My signature, Madison's address. None of it made sense, yet somehow it made perfect sense. This was my family we were talking about, the family that always chose Madison over me, the family that celebrated her achievements while treating mine like they were expected. But this was a whole different level. I grabbed my keys and headed straight for my car. The 30-minute drive to my parents' suburban home felt like 30 seconds. My mind raced through memories I had suppressed for years. Madison's sweet 16 party where they rented a venue and invited 200 people. My 16th birthday, where we had cake at home with just family. Madison's college graduation, where they threw a massive party and invited everyone they knew. My college graduation, where they took me to dinner at a chain restaurant. Madison's wedding, where they spared no expense. I wasn't even asked to be in the wedding party. I had always been the responsible one, the one who worked hard, saved money, never asked for help. I put myself through college with scholarships and part-time jobs. I got a decent job as a project coordinator at a tech company, making $62,000 a year. I lived modestly in a small apartment, drove a reliable Honda sedan, and saved every penny I could. I had been planning to buy my own condo. I had the down payment saved. I was supposed to close next week. And now this. I pulled into my parents' driveway around 7 in the evening. Through the window, I could see them having dinner. And there was Madison, sitting at the table with her husband, Tyler. Of course she was there. She was always there, always the center of attention, always the golden child. I didn't knock. I walked right in, my hand shaking as I held up the letter. My father, Frank, looked up from his plate. My mother, Carol, set down her fork. Madison's eyes went wide, and Tyler shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "What is this?" I demanded, my voice louder than I intended. "What the hell is this?" Frank exchanged a look with Carol. That look, that knowing look that told me everything I needed to know. They knew this was coming. They had been waiting for this moment. "Jesse, calm down," my father said, his voice steady, too steady. "We were going to tell you eventually." "Tell me what?" "That you committed fraud? That you stole my identity? That you forged my signature on a $463,000 mortgage?" My voice cracked. I felt like I was going to throw up. My mother stood up, her face twisted in that expression she always made when she was about to play the victim. "Don't be so dramatic, Jesse. Sit down and let us explain." "Explain? Explain what?" "How you committed multiple felonies." Madison finally spoke, her voice small. "Jesse, please, just listen." I turned to her, my sister, the person I had protected and cared for our entire childhood, the person I thought I knew. "Did you know about this?" She looked down at her plate. That was answer enough. Tyler cleared his throat. "Look, man, maybe we should all just take a breath here. Stay out of this," I snapped. I turned back to my parents. "Start talking. Now." My father sighed like I was being unreasonable, like I was the problem. "Madison needed help with the down payment and closing costs for her house. Your mother and I didn't have enough cash available at the time. You have excellent credit, Jesse. You've always been so responsible with money. We knew you'd qualify for the loan. So you stole my identity? You forged my signature?" You used my social security number without my permission? I could barely breathe. We didn't steal anything, my mother said, her voice sharp. Your family. Family helps each other. Family helps each other? By committing fraud? By destroying my credit? By putting me in debt for nearly $500,000? We were planning to make the payments, my father said. We just needed your credit to get the loan approved. Madison couldn't qualify on her own, and we're tapped out financially. This was the only way. The only way? The only way was to ruin my life? I looked at the documents again. These are dated 6 months ago. 6 months. How long were you planning to hide this from me? Silence. You were never going to tell me, were you? More silence. Madison deserved this house, my father finally said. She's starting a family. She needed a nice place to raise children. You're single, Jesse. You don't need a big house. You have that little apartment. You're fine. I stared at him, unable to believe what I was hearing. I deserved this house? What about what I deserved? I've been saving for 3 years to buy my own place. I have a closing next week. Had a closing. My mortgage just got denied because of this. That's unfortunate, my mother said. But Madison's situation was more urgent. She's pregnant, Jesse. She needs stability. So you destroyed my stability to give her yours? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Madison spoke again, tears in her eyes. Jesse, I'm sorry. I didn't think it would be this big of a deal. Mom and Dad said they'd handle the payments. I thought you'd agreed to help. You thought I'd agreed? Madison, I had no idea. None. That's called fraud. That's called identity theft. That's multiple felonies. Don't talk like that, my father said, his voice hardening. You're going to send your own parents to jail? What kind of son are you? What kind of parents are you? I shot back. You committed crimes against me, your own son. And you're acting like I'm the bad guy for being upset? My mother started crying. Right on cue. We did what we thought was best for the family. We're sorry you're upset, but this is done now. The loan is approved. Madison is living in the house. We can't undo it. Yes, you can. You can refinance in her name. You can sell the house. You can fix this. And destroy Madison's life in the process? My father said. She'd lose her home. She's about to have a baby. You'd do that to your own sister? She did this to me. You all did this to me. Tyler finally spoke up. Jesse, man, I get that you're angry, but we can't just give up the house. We have a nursery set up. We have our whole life there. Can't we work something out? Work something out? Like what? I pay the mortgage on your house? $3,200 a month? I make $62,000 a year. I can't afford that. I can barely afford my own rent. We'll help with payments, my mother said quickly. Too quickly. We'll contribute what we can. What you can. What does that mean? How much? When? Put it in writing. They all looked at each other. None of them had an answer. This is insane, I said, my voice breaking. You ruined my life. You destroyed my credit. You put me in debt I can't afford. And you're sitting here telling me I should be okay with it because it's for Madison? You should be honored to help your sister, my mother said. That's what family does. We sacrifice for each other. Sacrifice? This isn't sacrifice. This is theft. This is fraud. This is criminal. Watch your tone, my father said. I laughed. Actually laughed. A bitter, broken sound. Watch my tone? You stole my identity, and I need to watch my tone? Madison stood up, her hand on her pregnant belly. Jesse, please. I know you're mad. But this is done. Can we just move forward? Move forward? Madison, do you understand what you've done? What they've done? I could lose everything because of this. But you won't, she said. You're smart. You're resourceful. You'll figure it out. You always do. That broke something in me. The idea that they expected me to just handle it. To just figure it out. Like I always did. like I always had. "I'm going to fix this," I said. "I'm going to make this right." "Don't do anything stupid," my father warned. Stupid? Like committing mortgage fraud? Like that kind of stupid? I turned and walked toward the door. "Jesse, wait," my mother called. "Let's talk about this rationally. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. Now, I'll make mine." I got in my car and drove away, my hands shaking so hard I could barely grip the steering wheel. When I got home, I pulled up my bank account. The mortgage payment was due in 5 days. $3,200. My checking account balance was $800. My savings account, the one I had been building for 3 years for my down payment, had $14,000. But that was supposed to be for my future, my home, my life. Now, it was gone. All of it. Gone. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that forged signature. My signature. My name on documents I never signed. The weight of $463,000 crushing down on me. At 6 in the morning, I gave up on sleep and opened my laptop. If my parents had done this with the mortgage, what else had they done? I logged into my credit monitoring account and pulled my full credit report. What I saw made my blood run cold. 5 credit cards I never opened. Capital One, Chase, Bank of America, Discover, American Express, all opened within the last 18 months. All with my name, my social security number, my information, all maxed out. Capital One, $19,800. Chase, $23,500. Bank of America, $18,200. Discover, $15,900. American Express, $20,100. Total, $97,500. Combined with the mortgage, I was on the hook for $560,500, over $500,000 in debt I never agreed to. My credit score had dropped from 780 to 512. I stared at the screen, my vision blurring with tears. I clicked through each credit card account, accessing the statements online. They hadn't even tried to hide it. The charges were all traceable. Wedding venue rental, $12,000. Catering, $18,000. Wedding dress and alterations, $4,200. Honeymoon to Hawaii, $11,000. Furniture for Madison's house, $28,000. New appliances, $14,000. Landscaping, $8,000. Designer clothes, jewelry, electronics, even charges for a new truck in Tyler's name. Everything Madison wanted, she got. All on my credit. All without my knowledge or permission. The statements showed my parents had been making minimum payments for the first year. Tiny payments, barely covering interest. Then, 3 months ago, the payments stopped completely. Late fees piled up. Interest compounded. Collection notices started. My credit score plummeted. I grabbed my phone and called my real estate agent, Beth. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Jesse, hi. I was just about to call you. We have a problem with your closing." My heart sank. "What kind of problem?" "Your mortgage got denied. The underwriter pulled your credit report yesterday, and there are some serious concerns. Your debt-to-income ratio is way too high. Your credit score dropped significantly." "What happened?" "Identity theft," I said, my voice hollow. "My family stole my identity and opened accounts in my name." "Oh my God, Jesse. I'm so sorry. Have you filed a police report?" "Not yet. I just found out last night." "You need to do that immediately." "But Jesse, I have to tell you, your closing next week isn't going to happen. Even if you clear this up eventually, it'll take months to fix your credit. Maybe longer." "What about my earnest money deposit?" Silence on the other end. "That's $5,000, right?" "Yes." I'm sorry, Jesse. The contract has a financing contingency, but it's very specific. If the denial is due to fraudulent activity on your credit report, the seller can argue it's your responsibility to have discovered it earlier. They might keep the deposit. They're going to keep $5,000 because someone stole my identity? I'll try to negotiate, but I can't make any promises. I'm really sorry. I hung up and sat in silence. $5,000. 3 years of saving. Gone. My phone rang. It was my boss, Richard. Jesse, can you come in early today? I need to see you in my office. Is everything okay? Just come in. 8 o'clock. He hung up. I showered and dressed. My movements mechanical. I felt like I was watching my life fall apart from outside my body. When I got to the office, Richard was waiting in his office with the HR director, Susan. That was never a good sign. Jesse, sit down, Richard said. He looked uncomfortable. We need to talk about something sensitive. Okay. Susan opened a folder. As you know, you applied for the senior project coordinator position last month. Yes. We ran a standard credit check as part of the background screening for the promotion. It's company policy for positions with financial oversight responsibilities. My stomach dropped. And your credit report shows significant financial problems. Multiple delinquent accounts, extremely high debt-to-income ratio, a credit score below our threshold. Jesse, this is a red flag for us. Employees with serious financial problems can pose security risks. It's identity theft, I said quickly. My family stole my identity. I just found out last night. I'm reporting it to the police. Richard and Susan exchanged glances. We're sorry to hear that, Richard said. But until this is resolved, we can't move forward with your promotion. I understand. There's more, Susan said. Your annual review is coming up next month. Given these circumstances, we need to reassess whether your current salary increase is appropriate. Financial instability can affect job performance. Are you saying I might not get my raise? We're saying it's under review. We need to see how you handle this situation. I left the office feeling sick. The promotion would have meant a $15,000 salary increase. The annual raise was supposed to be 3%, around $1,900. Now both were in jeopardy. That evening, I drove back to my parents' house. I needed answers about the credit cards. My mother answered the door. Jesse, we weren't expecting you. We need to talk. Now. My father appeared behind her. What now? I held up printed copies of the credit card statements. $97,000. 5 credit cards, all in my name, all maxed out. My father's face paled slightly, but he recovered quickly. We borrowed your credit to help with some family expenses. Borrowed? You can't borrow someone's credit without their permission. That's called fraud. Don't use that word in our house. My mother snapped. It's the legal term for what you did. Madison's wedding, her furniture, her appliances, Tyler's truck. All charged to cards in my name. Madison deserved a nice wedding, my mother said. Were we supposed to let her be embarrassed with a cheap ceremony? You were supposed to pay for it with your own money, not mine. My father sighed. We ran into some financial difficulties. I was laid off 8 months ago. We didn't have the cash for everything Madison needed. We used your credit as a temporary solution. Temporary? It's been 18 months. And you stopped making payments 3 months ago. We ran out of money, he admitted. I haven't found steady work yet. We're living on Carol's part-time income and credit cards. We thought you'd take over the payments once you found out. Take over? I can't afford any of this. I make $62,000 a year. These payments alone would be over $4,000 a month. Add in my rent, my car, food, basic living expenses. It's impossible. You'll figure it out, my mother said. You're resourceful. You always have been. Stop saying that. I can't figure out $500,000 in debt. Then what do you want us to do? My father asked, his voice rising. We can't pay it. Madison can't pay it. You're the only one with income. I'm filing a police report. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I called Madison that night. She answered on the 5th ring. Jesse, I can't really talk right now. Did you know about the credit cards? Silence. Madison, answer me. Did you know they opened credit cards in my name? I knew about some of it, she admitted quietly. But Mom and Dad told me you were okay with helping. They said you'd agreed to co-sign or something. I never agreed to anything. I didn't even know about any of this until yesterday. Well, I didn't know that. I thought you were helping. Madison, you knew it wasn't right. You had to know. I didn't want to rock the boat, okay? Mom and Dad were handling everything. I trusted them. They committed fraud, multiple counts, and you benefited from all of it. What do you want me to say, Jesse? I'm sorry? Fine, I'm sorry. But I can't undo any of this. The wedding happened. The furniture is in my house. The truck is in Tyler's name. It's done. You could help pay it back. With what money? Tyler and I are barely making ends meet. I'm about to be on maternity leave. We can't afford to pay you back. Then you can sell the house. Are you insane? We have a baby coming. We're not selling our house. It's not your house. It's my debt. Tyler got on the phone. Look, man, I get that you're upset, but we can't give the house back. We just found out we're having a girl. We have the nursery set up. Carol's been helping us decorate. We're building a life here, and destroying mine in the process. That's not our fault. That's between you and your parents. He hung up. I met with a financial advisor the next morning. His name was Greg, and he specialized in debt management. I showed him everything. He whistled low. This is bad, Jesse. I know. Total debt, $560,000. Monthly obligations if you paid everything, around $4,800. Your take-home pay after taxes, what, around $3,700 a month? About that. You can't do it. It's mathematically impossible. You'd need to make over $100,000 a year to handle this debt load comfortably. What are my options? Bankruptcy or prosecution? Those are really your only choices. Bankruptcy would eliminate the credit card debt but not the mortgage. To get your name off the mortgage, your parents would need to refinance in their own names, which won't happen if they're in financial trouble. Or they'd need to sell the house and pay off the loan. Prosecution means filing criminal charges against your parents for identity theft and fraud. And if I do nothing, your credit stays destroyed. Collectors will sue you. They'll garnish your wages. You'll lose 25% of your paycheck to wage garnishment. Your bank accounts can be levied. You won't be able to rent an apartment, get a car loan, or even get some jobs. Your life will be on hold for years, maybe decades. I left his office and drove aimlessly for an hour. When I got back to my apartment, there was a notice taped to my door. My property management company was denying my lease renewal. They ran a routine credit check for all renewing tenants. My credit score and debt load made me too high risk. I had 30 days to vacate. I was about to lose my home. The next morning, I walked into the police station carrying a folder full of documentation. Bank statements, credit reports, loan documents, everything. I asked to file a report for identity theft. Detective Anderson took my statement. He was in his 50s, gray hair, tired eyes. He listened carefully as I explained everything. So your parents forged your signature, opened accounts in your name, took out a mortgage you didn't authorize, he summarized. Yes. And you want to press charges? Yes. You understand this will likely result in criminal charges against your parents and possibly your sister? I understand. Okay. Let me start the paperwork. This is going to take some time to investigate, but we'll get started. I felt a small sense of relief. Finally, someone was taking this seriously. 2 days later, Detective Anderson called me back. Jesse, we have a complication. What kind of complication? Your parents provided some evidence to us. They say you were aware of the loans and agreed to help your sister. They have emails and text messages between you and them discussing it. That's impossible. I never agreed to anything. Can you come down to the station? I need you to look at something. I drove there immediately. Detective Anderson showed me printed emails from my email address to my parents' email address, dated 4 months before the mortgage was taken out. The email read, "Mom and Dad, I've thought about it, and I want to help Madison get her house. You can use my credit if it helps. Just let me know what you need from me." "I never sent this," I said. "It came from your email address. They must have accessed my email. I've been to their house dozens of times. They could have used my laptop when I wasn't looking. Or they know my passwords." He showed me more. Text messages from my phone number to my mother's phone. "Happy to help with Madison's house. Family comes first. Thanks for letting me be part of Madison's big day. Use whatever credit you need." I never sent these texts. They came from your phone number. They had access to my phone. Family gatherings, dinners. I'd leave my phone on the counter. They could have sent these when I wasn't around. Detective Anderson looked sympathetic but skeptical. "Jesse, I believe you. But this complicates things significantly. Your parents have what appears to be evidence that you consented. That makes this a civil dispute between family members, not clear-cut fraud. We can continue investigating, but a prosecutor might not take this case. So, they get away with it?" "I didn't say that. I'm saying it's complicated. Civil court might be your better option. Sue them for the damages. They don't have any money. Then, you might be stuck." I left the station feeling defeated. My 30-day notice to vacate my apartment was ticking down. I applied to 12 different apartments over the next week. Every single application was denied. My credit score was poison. Even rooms in shared houses turned me down after running my credit. With 2 weeks left on my lease, I made a decision I never thought I'd have to make. I checked into an extended stay motel on the edge of town. $95 per night. Over $2,800 a month. More than my old apartment. But they didn't require a credit check. Just cash up front. The room was tiny. 1 bed, a small kitchenette, a bathroom that smelled like mildew. But it was shelter. Debt collectors started calling. Multiple times a day. The calls were aggressive, threatening. "Mr. Jesse, you owe $19,800 to Capital One. When are you planning to pay? It's fraudulent. I'm disputing it. Disputes take 90 days to process. In the meantime, payment is due. We can garnish your wages. I'm working with the police. That's not our problem. You owe this money." 8 to 12 calls every day. I stopped answering my phone. Then I started missing important calls. My dentist appointment, a call from the HR department, a potential freelance opportunity. My boss pulled me aside again. "Jesse, debt collectors are calling the main office line asking for you. This is unacceptable. Handle your personal issues outside of work." "I'm sorry. I'll talk to them." "Do more than talk. Fix it." Then came Madison's baby shower invitation. Posted all over social media. "So blessed to celebrate our baby girl coming soon. Can't wait to raise her in our beautiful home. Thank you to my amazing parents for all their support." Photos of her house. The house I was paying for. Designer. Nursery furniture that was on credit cards in my name. Everything perfect. Everything expensive. Everything a lie. Family members commented. "Aunt Linda, your parents are so generous. Jesse, you must be so proud of your sister." Cousins. "Madison, you're living the dream." Friends, "That house is gorgeous. You're so lucky." Nobody knew. Nobody understood. I was drowning while my sister posted pictures of her perfect life built on my destroyed credit. I consulted with 3 attorneys over the following week. The civil litigation attorney said I could sue my parents and Madison for damages, but he needed a $5,000 retainer, and even if I won, collecting would be nearly impossible if they had no assets. The criminal attorney said prosecution was possible but difficult with the forged consent evidence. He needed $8,000 up front. The bankruptcy attorney said Chapter 7 would eliminate the credit card debt, but not the mortgage. He needed $3,500 to file. I couldn't afford any of them. The mortgage payment was now 45 days overdue. The bank sent a default notice. Late fees added $275. My credit score dropped to 445. The bank threatened foreclosure proceedings. I sat in my motel room, staring at the notice. If I didn't pay, Madison would lose the house. If I did pay, I'd go completely broke. I had no good options. My girlfriend Amanda came over that evening. We'd been dating for 2 years. She'd been supportive through all of this, but I could see the strain in her eyes. "Jesse, we need to talk," she said. I knew what was coming. "I can't do this anymore," she said, tears in her eyes. "I love you, but I can't build a future with you when your life is like this. The stress, the debt, the family drama. It's too much. Amanda, please. I'm working on fixing this. But when will it be fixed? Months? Years? I'm 27 years old. I want to get married, have kids, buy a house. I can't do any of that with you. Not now, maybe not ever. So you're just giving up on me?" "I'm giving up on this situation. I'm sorry, Jesse. I really am." She left. I sat on the edge of the motel bed and cried for the first time since this all started. My friends started distancing themselves too. Invitations stopped coming. Group chats went quiet when I joined. People were polite but distant. Nobody wanted to be around someone with this much chaos in their life. Then came the final blow. I checked my bank account one morning to find my checking account balance at 0, completely frozen. A notice stated that my account had been levied by a creditor. They took the remaining $1,300 I had. Everything. I called the bank. They explained that Capital One had obtained a judgment against me and filed a bank levy. It was legal. The money was gone. My next paycheck would be deposited in 2 weeks. But the levy was still active. They'd take that too. I had $0. I had no access to my own income. I had no savings. I had no emergency fund. I called my property manager at the motel. "I need a few more days to pay this week's rent." "Cash only, Mr. Jesse. That's the policy." "I understand. But my bank account was levied. I have no access to money right now." "Then I'll need you to check out. Please. Just give me until my paycheck clears. I'll give you 48 hours. After that, I'm renting the room to someone else." I hung up and sat in silence. I had 48 hours before I was homeless. I survived the next few days by using a credit card I had managed to get approved for before my credit completely tanked. It had a $500 limit. I used it for food, 1 meal a day, usually just a sandwich or a burger from a fast food place. I stopped eating breakfast and dinner. I lost 15 pounds in 3 weeks. Sleep became impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw numbers. Debt, bills, red notices. My heart would race, my chest would tighten, and I'd jolt awake in a panic. I was getting maybe 3 hours of sleep a night. My work performance suffered. I missed deadlines, made careless mistakes, couldn't focus during meetings. My boss noticed. "Jesse, what's going on with you? This isn't like you. I'm dealing with some personal issues. I'll get it together. You need to. We can't have this level of performance from our team." One afternoon, I was at a coffee shop trying to work on my laptop. I needed the Wi-Fi since I couldn't afford internet at the motel. That's when I ran into Hannah, one of Madison's friends from college. "Jesse, hi," she said brightly. "Long time no see." "Hey, Hannah. I was just thinking about Madison. She's so lucky, you know. That house is gorgeous." "Yeah? And the real estate market right now? She's going to make a fortune when she sells." I froze. "When she sells?" Hannah's smile faltered. "Oh, I thought you knew. Madison's been talking to realtors. She and Tyler are planning to upgrade to a bigger house. Something about his job transfer to another state. She said the house has appreciated so much. They'll make at least $80,000 in profit. My vision blurred. She's selling the house? In a few months, I think. She's been getting quotes from agents. I just assumed you knew. Aren't you guys close? We used to be. Hannah looked uncomfortable. Well, I should go. Good seeing you, Jesse. She left. I sat there, my coffee growing cold, as the full picture came into focus. Madison was planning to sell the house with my name on the mortgage, the house I was legally responsible for. She would walk away with the profit while I remained buried in debt until the sale closed. And even after the sale, if there was any remaining debt, it would be mine. I spent the rest of the day investigating. I drove past Madison's house and saw real estate agents coming and going. I checked online and found her property listed as coming soon on several real estate websites. She was really doing this. I called Hannah back. Can you tell me more about what Madison said? Hannah hesitated. I don't want to get in the middle of family stuff. Please, she sighed. She said she and Tyler are moving to Colorado. He got a really good job offer there. They want a bigger house, since they're planning to have more kids. She's been meeting with agents to get the house market ready. She told us the house has gone up in value like crazy. She's excited about the profit. Did she mention me at all? Long pause. She said her parents helped her get the house. She didn't really talk about you. Of course she didn't. I consulted with a real estate attorney during a free consultation. I explained the situation. Here's the thing, the attorney said. If your name is on the mortgage but not on the title, you're in a bad position. She could potentially sell the house, but she'd need your cooperation to satisfy the mortgage and clear the title. However, if she defaulted and the house went to foreclosure, she could potentially buy it back through a third party at a lower price. It's complicated, but people run schemes like this. So I could be stuck with the debt, even after she sells? Possibly. You'd need to see the full transaction. But yes, that's a risk. I felt sick. That weekend, my parents called a mandatory family meeting at their house. I didn't want to go, but I needed to confront them about Madison's plans. When I arrived, the whole family was there. Mom, Dad, Madison, Tyler, Aunt Linda, Uncle Ray, even some cousins. This was an ambush. My father stood up as I walked in. Jesse, we're glad you're here. We've been discussing your situation, and we think we've found a solution. A solution? We want you to sign over all your rights to Madison's house. She'll sell it, and you'll be released from the mortgage obligation once the sale closes. Any profit will go to Madison to help her buy her next house. This way, everyone wins. I stared at him. Everyone wins? I get nothing and she gets all the profit from a house I'm paying for? You're not paying for it, my mother said. The house pays for itself when it sells. I've been responsible for a $463,000 mortgage for 6 months. My credit is destroyed. I lost my apartment, my promotion, my girlfriend, my savings. And you think I should just sign everything over so Madison can profit? Aunt Linda spoke up. Jesse, honey, your sister is about to have a baby. She needs that money for her future. You're young and single. You'll recover. Recover? I'm 28 years old and I'm homeless. I'm living in a motel. I eat 1 meal a day. Debt collectors are garnishing my wages. There's no recovery from this. Uncle Ray shook his head. You're being dramatic. Your parents are offering you a solution. Take it. The solution is that I get screwed, and Madison gets rewarded. That's not a solution. Madison stood up, one hand on her pregnant belly. Jesse, please. I need this. Tyler's job in Colorado is a huge opportunity for us. We need the profit from this house to buy something nice there. Don't be selfish. I'm selfish? I'm selfish? My father cut in. That's enough. Jesse, you're going to sign these papers. It's what's best for the family. No. No? I'm not signing anything. You committed fraud. You destroyed my life. And now you want me to just hand over everything so Madison can profit? No. I walked out. My mother followed me to my car, crying dramatically. Jesse, please, don't do this to your sister. Think about the baby. Think about your niece. Do you really want to hurt an innocent child? I'm not hurting anyone. You all hurt me. Every single one of you. My father came out too. If you don't cooperate, we'll make sure the entire family knows you're trying to destroy your pregnant sister. We'll tell everyone you're refusing to help a young mother. You'll be the villain, Jesse. Is that what you want? Tell them whatever you want. I know the truth. I drove away. Behind me, I could see my mother collapsed on the lawn, crying. My father holding her, the whole family watching. They were already crafting the narrative. Within 2 days, my phone exploded with hostile messages from relatives. Aunt Linda, how dare you try to take Madison's house while she's pregnant? What kind of brother are you? Uncle Ray, your parents sacrificed everything for you kids. This is how you repay them? Cousins posting on social media. Some people care more about money than family. Madison posted, going through a really hard time. Praying for family members who choose greed over love. My daughter deserves better than this negativity. The comments poured in. People I'd known my whole life turning against me. Nobody asked for my side. Nobody wanted to hear the truth. I was the villain in their story. At work, things got worse. I missed another deadline. Made a critical error on a client project. My boss issued a formal written warning. Jesse, you're on a performance improvement plan. You have 60 days to show significant improvement, or we'll have to let you go. I understand. I hope so. Because right now, you're not meeting the standards we expect. I left his office and went to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and broke down. That night, I was working late at the office when I suddenly felt dizzy. The room spun, my chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. I collapsed. A coworker found me and called an ambulance. I was rushed to the emergency room. The doctors ran tests. Severe anxiety. High blood pressure at 160/100. Stress-induced gastritis. Malnutrition. Dehydration. Mr. Jesse, you're 28 years old and your body is shutting down from stress, the doctor said. If you don't eliminate the stressors in your life, you're going to have a heart attack or a stroke. I'm serious. This is life-threatening. The hospital bill was $3,200. My insurance had a high deductible I couldn't afford to pay. More debt. When I was discharged, I took an Uber back to the motel. $8 I could barely spare. I walked into my room and found an eviction notice taped to the door. The motel manager had found out about my financial situation from calls from debt collectors. He wanted me out. 72 hours. I sat on the bed and stared at the notice. 72 hours until I was on the street. No money, no family, no support. Failing health. About to lose my job. This was it. Rock bottom. Absolute rock bottom. I had nowhere left to fall. I spent the next 3 days frantically searching for anywhere to stay. Shelters were full. Friends made excuses. I couldn't afford another motel. On the 72nd hour, I loaded everything I owned into my Honda sedan. Clothes, laptop, a few personal items. Everything else I left behind or sold for $20 here, $10 there. I was homeless. I drove to a 24-hour gym and bought a membership for $40. My last $40. But it gave me access to showers, a place to charge my phone, and a bathroom. I'd figure out the rest later. That first night, I parked my car in a Walmart parking lot. I'd read online that Walmart allows overnight parking. I reclined my seat as far as it would go, pulled a thin blanket over myself, and tried to sleep. Every sound made me jump. Every car that passed made me nervous. I barely slept 2 hours. At work the next day, I was a disaster. I could barely keep my eyes open. I made mistakes on basic tasks. During a team meeting, my boss asked me a question and I completely blanked. Just stared at him with no idea what he'd asked. After the meeting, he called me into his office. "Jesse, this isn't working. You've been on a performance improvement plan for 53 days. You've shown no improvement. In fact, you've gotten worse. I'm sorry, but we have to let you go." "Please," I said. "I need this job. I'll do better. I promise. I can't keep making excuses for you to upper management. Your performance is affecting the whole team. This is effective immediately. HR will process your final paycheck." Just like that, I was unemployed. I went to HR to get my final paycheck. After garnishments from creditors, I received $120. $120 to live on until I found another job. I filed for unemployment that afternoon at the public library. But there was a problem. The system required a mailing address. I had no address, no stable place to receive mail. The application got stuck in processing. For the next 2 weeks, I lived in my car. I rotated between different parking lots: Walmart, Target, a church parking lot that seemed safe, a residential street where nobody paid attention. I showered at the gym. I used public library bathrooms. I ate at soup kitchens when I could find them. I lost more weight. My clothes hung loose on my body. My face looked gaunt. I had dark circles under my eyes. I looked like what I was, a man falling apart. I applied to dozens of jobs. But without a stable address, without reliable internet, without clean clothes for interviews, it was nearly impossible. The few phone interviews I got went nowhere. One hot afternoon in late September, I was parked outside a restaurant, trying to use their Wi-Fi. I had my windows cracked because my car had no air conditioning, and I couldn't run the engine constantly because I had no money for gas. That's when I saw them. My parents' car pulled into the parking lot, and then Madison's SUV. They were meeting for lunch. I slouched down in my seat, hoping they wouldn't see me. They didn't. They walked right past my car, talking and laughing, and went into the restaurant. They sat at an outdoor patio table, 15 feet from where I was parked. I could hear everything. My father's phone rang. He put it on speaker. "Hey, Danny," he said. Danny. I didn't know any Danny in our family. "Frank, I told you never to call me again," a man's voice said. "Come on, Danny. Don't be like that. We're family." "Family? You destroyed my life 30 years ago, and you call that family?" My mother spoke up. "Danny, you're still bitter about that? We were helping you." "Helping me? You used my credit to buy a rental property, made a fortune when you sold it, and left me with all the debt. I had to declare bankruptcy, lost my business. My wife left me. I lost everything. You ruined my life." "You could have said no," my father said casually. "I was 22 years old. You were my older brother-in-law. I trusted you, and you destroyed me." My father laughed. Actually laughed. "Well, it worked out for us. That rental property helped us buy our first house. You're sick. Both of you. I hope karma catches up to you one day." He hung up. I sat frozen in my car, my phone out, recording. I hit record the moment I heard Danny's name. 30 seconds of conversation. But it was enough. Madison arrived and sat down with them. They ordered drinks. "So how's the house situation with Jesse?" Madison asked. My mother waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, he'll come around eventually. Or he'll just declare bankruptcy. Either way, we got what we needed." "Do you think he'll actually try to sue us?" Madison asked. "Let him try," my father said. "We have those fake emails and texts. Any lawyer will see it's just a family dispute. Criminal charges won't stick." "I feel a little bad," Madison said. "I mean, he is my brother, and he's really struggling." "Madison, sweetie, Jesse has always been the responsible one. He'll land on his feet. He always does. He's smart. He'll figure something out." "And if he doesn't?" Madison asked. My father shrugged. Then that's not our problem. We did what we had to do to help you. That's what parents do. Jesse's an adult. He can take care of himself. My mother nodded. Besides, once you sell that house, you'll have the down payment for your new place in Colorado. That's what matters. Jesse will be fine. They talked for another 40 minutes. I recorded all of it. They discussed other schemes they'd run over the years. How they'd used my deceased grandmother's identity to open credit cards back in the 90s. How they'd used Madison's credit when she turned 18, which is why her credit was terrible now. How this was just their strategy for getting what they wanted. Remember when we coached Madison on what to say if anyone asked? My mother said. Oh yeah. My father laughed. We told her to say Jesse agreed to help, that he was happy to support his sister, and she did great. Madison shifted uncomfortably. I thought he had agreed at first. You guys made it sound like he was on board. Well, he wasn't, my father said. But what he doesn't know won't hurt him. Until it does. Then it's too late to do anything about it. They all laughed. My own family, laughing about destroying my life. I sat in my car, recording everything. 42 minutes total. They talked about forging my signatures, about how they destroyed documents afterward, about how Curtis Webb, the loan officer at First National Bank, helped them falsify my income verification for a $5,000 consultation fee, about how they'd done this before with other family members. My hands shook as I held the phone. But this time, it wasn't from fear or despair. It was from cold, calculated rage. They thought I was broken. They thought I would just give up. They thought I'd declare bankruptcy and fade away. They were wrong. When they finally left, I sat in my car and thought about everything I'd just heard. Then I searched on my phone for Danny, related to my mother's maiden name, Patterson. I found him, Daniel Patterson. He lived 2 hours away in a small town called Riverside. I had just enough gas to get there, barely. I drove to his address. It was a modest house on a quiet street. I knocked on the door, not sure what I'd say. A man in his 50s answered. Tired eyes, gray hair, worn face. He looked at me confused. Can I help you? Are you Danny Patterson? Carol Patterson's brother? His face darkened. I haven't spoken to Carol in 30 years. Who are you? I'm Jesse, Carol's son. My parents did to me what they did to you. His expression changed. Surprise. Then recognition. Then something like sad understanding. Come in, kid. We sat at his kitchen table. I told him everything. He listened, nodding occasionally. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. They did the exact same thing to me in 1998, he finally said. Convinced me to let them use my credit to buy a rental property. Said we'd split the profits. They made $100,000 when they sold it 2 years later. I got nothing but debt. Had to declare bankruptcy. Lost my contracting business. My wife couldn't handle the stress and left. I've been rebuilding for 30 years. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be angry. Use that anger. He looked at me. You recording that conversation was smart. You said you got it all? 42 minutes. Everything. That's evidence of conspiracy. That's fraud. That's them admitting to crimes. He leaned forward. Kid, I've been waiting 30 years for karma to hit them. Maybe you're it. I don't know what to do with it. I know someone who does. A lawyer named Patricia Walker. She specializes in family financial abuse cases. Elder abuse, mostly, but she's branched into other areas. She's been trying to build cases against people like your parents for years. She works on contingency for the right cases. Let me call her. He picked up his phone and dialed. Patricia, it's Danny Patterson. Remember me? Yeah, it's been a while. Listen, I have someone here you need to meet. Carol and Frank's son. They did to him what they did to me, but worse. And he has recordings. Yeah, recordings of them admitting everything. Can you meet with him? Tomorrow? Perfect. He hung up. She wants to see you tomorrow at 10 in the morning. Her office is in the city. I'll give you the address. I don't know how to thank you. You can thank me by taking those bastards down. I never could. Maybe you can. I don't have anywhere to stay tonight. He looked at me, really looked at me, saw the exhaustion, the weight loss, the desperation. You're staying here. I have a spare bedroom. And starting Monday, you're working for me. I still run a small contracting business. I need someone to help with project management and paperwork. $400 a week, cash, off the books, until you get back on your feet. Deal? I almost cried. Deal. That night, I slept in a real bed for the first time in weeks. I showered with hot water. Danny made dinner, just spaghetti and meatballs, but it was the first real meal I'd had in days. I ate 2 full plates. Get some rest, kid, Danny said. Tomorrow we start fighting back. I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling. For the first time in months, I felt something other than despair. I felt hope. Patricia Walker's office was in a modest building downtown. She met me at 10 in the morning, exactly as planned. She was in her 50s, sharp eyes, professional suit, with an intensity that made it clear she didn't waste time. Danny came with me for moral support. Jesse, Danny's told me the basics, but I need to hear everything from you, Patricia said. I spent an hour walking her through the entire nightmare. The mortgage, the credit cards, the forged signatures, the fake emails and texts, my parents' financial situation, Madison's involvement, the family pressure. I showed her every document I had. Bank statements, credit reports, loan papers, default notices. Then I played her the recording. She listened to all 42 minutes in silence. Her expression never changed, but I could see her taking notes. Lots of notes. When it finished, she sat back. "This is bigger than you think," she said. "What do you mean?" "The loan officer your parents mentioned, Curtis Webb. They said they paid him $5,000 to falsify your income verification. That's not just family fraud. That's mortgage fraud involving a bank employee. That's federal crime territory." "Federal?" "Bank fraud falls under federal jurisdiction. This Curtis Webb was approving fraudulent loans for kickbacks. Your case might not be the only one." She pulled up something on her computer. "Let me make a call." She dialed and put it on speaker. "This is Patricia Walker. I need to request a subpoena for loan documentation from First National Bank. Specifically, all loans processed by an employee named Curtis Webb for the past 5 years. Yes, I'll send over the preliminary evidence. Thank you." She hung up and looked at me. "Jesse, I'm taking your case. Contingency basis. I don't get paid unless we win. But I need you to understand something. This is going to get complicated. We're not just going after your parents. We're potentially uncovering a mortgage fraud scheme that could involve multiple victims and federal crimes. I just want my name off that mortgage and my credit fixed. You'll get that. But we might get a lot more. Are you ready for this?" I thought about living in my car, about losing everything, about my family laughing at my destruction. "I'm ready." Over the next 3 weeks, Patricia worked fast. She filed subpoenas, requested documentation, built the case. What she uncovered was shocking. Curtis Webb had processed 6 suspicious loans in the past 5 years. All of them involved family members using other family members' credit without proper verification. All of them had red flags that should have stopped the loans from being approved. All of them involved payoffs to Curtis Webb. Patricia tracked down the other victims. There were 4 besides me and Danny. One was a woman named Sharon. Her brother used her credit to buy a vacation rental property. She lost her home when she couldn't afford both mortgages. Another was a man named Robert. His parents used his identity to refinance their house. He ended up with $70,000 in debt. A third was a young woman named Emily. Her sister used her credit to buy a car and take out personal loans. Emily had attempted suicide 3 years ago because of the financial pressure. She survived, but barely. The fourth was a man named Christopher. His uncle used his identity for business loans. Christopher lost custody of his children because the debt made him unable to provide stable housing. 6 victims total. Over $2,700,000 in fraudulent loans. Patricia contacted the FBI. She presented the evidence, the recordings, the documentation, the pattern of fraud. 2 weeks later, an FBI agent named Marcus Torres came to Patricia's office to meet with me. "Mr. Jesse, I'm Agent Torres with the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. We've been investigating Curtis Webb for 18 months, based on tips from other sources. Your case and the evidence Miss Walker has provided might be exactly what we need to build a prosecution. Are you willing to cooperate?" "Yes. That means providing testimony, potentially testifying in court, and possibly wearing a wire to record conversations with your parents." "I'll do whatever it takes." Agent Torres nodded. "Good. Because Curtis Webb isn't working alone. We believe there's a broader network of corrupt loan officers doing this across multiple banks. Your parents might have worked with others besides Webb. If we can get them to talk, we can bring down the whole network." Over the next month, I worked with Agent Torres and Patricia. I provided detailed testimony about everything my parents did. I gave them the recordings. I showed them every piece of evidence. Then came the hard part. Agent Torres wanted me to meet with my parents while wearing a wire. "We need them to incriminate themselves on tape in a controlled setting," he explained. "The recording you have is good, but it was made without their knowledge in a public place. We need clearer evidence directly from them to you, acknowledging what they did." I agreed. They fitted me with a small recording device hidden in my shirt. The FBI set up surveillance nearby. I called my parents and asked to meet them, saying I wanted to discuss resolving this situation peacefully. They agreed immediately. They thought I was giving up. We met at a coffee shop. My parents arrived looking relieved. "Jesse, we're so glad you called," my mother said. "We've been worried about you. Let's just talk about how to fix this," I said, keeping my voice steady. My father leaned forward. "We know this has been hard on you, but we did what we had to do for Madison. You understand that, right? Family helps family. I need to understand exactly what happened. Walk me through how you got the mortgage approved." My father glanced at my mother. "Well, we worked with a loan officer at First National Bank, Curtis Webb. Good guy. We explained the situation, that Madison needed help, but her credit wasn't great. Curtis said if we could use someone else's credit, someone with good income and credit score, he could make it work. So you used mine." "Right. We gave Curtis your information. Social Security number, employment details. He handled the rest. He falsified my income verification." My father shrugged. "He made some adjustments to make sure the loan got approved. We paid him a consultation fee for his help." "How much?" $5,000. Worth every penny," my mother added. "And the credit cards, those were just for Madison's wedding and house expenses. We needed to use your credit because ours was maxed out. You have to understand, Jesse, we were desperate. We wanted Madison to have a nice life. Even if it destroyed mine, you're young. You'll recover. Madison has a baby coming. She needed this more than you. Did Madison know you were using my credit?" "She knew we were helping her. She didn't ask too many questions. Smart girl." They kept talking, incriminating themselves further with every sentence. After 30 minutes, I had everything Agent Torres needed. "I need to go," I said. "Wait, Jesse, are we good? Can we move past this?" my father asked. "We'll see." I left. Agent Torres and his team had recorded everything. 1 week later, the FBI executed coordinated raids. They arrested my father at home. They arrested my mother at the grocery store. They arrested Curtis Webb at First National Bank. They arrested Madison at her house while she was folding baby clothes. All four were charged with multiple federal crimes: wire fraud, bank fraud, identity theft, conspiracy to commit fraud. The local news covered it. Multi-million-dollar mortgage fraud scheme uncovered. Local family and bank employee arrested. My phone exploded with messages from relatives. This time, they weren't hostile. They were apologetic. Aunt Linda: "Oh my God, Jesse. We had no idea. I'm so sorry we didn't believe you." Uncle Ray: "I should have listened to your side. I'm sorry." Cousins: "We were wrong about you. We're sorry." Some were genuinely apologetic. Others were just protecting their own reputations now that the truth was public. I responded politely but kept my distance. The damage was done. Meanwhile, Patricia moved forward with the civil case. She filed suit against my parents, Madison, Curtis Webb, and First National Bank. The bank was liable for their employees' fraudulent actions while working in his official capacity. First National Bank's legal team contacted Patricia within 48 hours. They wanted to settle. The last thing they needed was publicity about internal mortgage fraud. The PR nightmare alone would cost them millions in lost business. They offered a settlement: remove the mortgage from my name immediately, pay off all the fraudulent credit cards in full, restore my credit to its previous status, and pay me $350,000 in compensation for damages. Patricia reviewed it with me. "This is a good offer. In court, we might get more, but it could take years. This settlement gives you immediate relief and significant compensation. What about criminal charges? Those are separate. The FBI's case proceeds regardless of the civil settlement. Your parents, Madison, and Curtis Webb will still face criminal prosecution. I'll take the settlement." Smart choice. "We'll negotiate one more thing. They pay my contingency fee separately, so you get the full $350,000. They agreed. I signed the settlement agreement. Within 2 weeks, the mortgage was removed from my credit report. The credit cards were paid off and closed. My credit score jumped from 445 to 720, and I had $250,000 in my bank account after Patricia's contingency fee. 2 months later, the criminal case concluded. My parents and Madison took plea deals to avoid trial. Frank: 5 years in federal prison. Carol: 4 years in federal prison. Madison: 3 years in federal prison, with possibility of early release after 18 months. Curtis Webb: 7 years in federal prison. The other loan officers in the network were arrested too. The entire scheme was dismantled. On the day they were sentenced, I sat in the courtroom. My father refused to look at me. My mother cried. Madison looked broken. The judge was not sympathetic. "You preyed on family members for financial gain. You destroyed lives. You showed no remorse until you were caught. These sentences reflect the severity of your crimes." I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No relief. Just exhaustion and a deep sadness that my own family had destroyed themselves. Tyler was in the courtroom too. He had divorced Madison while she was awaiting trial. He had full custody of their daughter, Emma. After the sentencing, he approached me in the hallway. "Jesse, I'm sorry. I didn't know the full extent of what they were doing. When I found out everything, I couldn't stay. I filed for divorce immediately. I understand. Emma deserves better than this. I want her to grow up knowing the truth, but also knowing that family can be good. Would you want to be part of her life? As her uncle?" I looked at him, thought about holding grudges, thought about punishing an innocent child for her parents' crimes. "Yes, I'd like that." We agreed to meet for coffee the following week. It was a start. 6 months after the settlement, my life looked completely different. I used the money wisely. I paid off every remaining debt I had. I put a down payment on a modest 2-bedroom condo in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. My name on the deed. my mortgage that I actually applied for, my home. I established a 6-month emergency fund in a high-yield savings account. I'd never be caught unprepared again. I also started therapy to process everything I'd been through. Twice a week, sessions with a counselor named Dr. Reynolds, who specialized in family trauma and financial abuse. What you experienced was severe trauma, Dr. Reynolds told me. Betrayal by the people who were supposed to protect you. Financial devastation. Homelessness. Loss of identity. These aren't small things. Give yourself permission to heal. I was still working for Danny at his contracting business. He'd made me a full partner after I helped him modernize his systems and bring in new clients. My project management skills from my old tech job translated perfectly. We were growing the business, and I was earning $75,000 annually now. More than my old job, and I actually enjoyed the work. Danny became more than a boss. He became family. The kind of family I'd always wanted. He taught me about contracting, about business, about rebuilding after devastation. We had dinner together twice a week. He never pushed me to talk about my parents or Madison. He just let me heal at my own pace. One Sunday afternoon, Tyler called. "Hey, Jesse, Emma and I are at the park near your place. Want to come meet us?" I drove over. Emma was 8 months old now, sitting in a stroller, chewing on a teething ring. She had Madison's eyes, but Tyler's smile. When she saw me, she reached out her little hands. "She likes you," Tyler said. I picked her up carefully. She was so light, so innocent. None of this was her fault. She gurgled and grabbed my finger. "She deserves better than what happened," I said. "She'll have better. I'm making sure of it. And I want you to be part of that, if you're willing." I'm willing. We started meeting regularly. Once a week, at first, then twice. I became Uncle Jesse. I bought her books and toys. Tyler and I developed a genuine friendship, built on honesty and respect for what we'd both been through. Danny hosted a family barbecue at his house one Saturday in May. He invited Tyler and Emma. He also invited some of his friends from church, including a woman named Rachel who taught 3rd grade at the local elementary school. Rachel and I ended up talking for hours. She was funny, kind, grounded. She asked me what I did for work, and I told her about the contracting business. She told me about her students, about teaching, about her passion for helping kids who came from difficult backgrounds. "My parents went through bankruptcy when I was 12, she said. "It was traumatic, but we got through it. It taught me resilience. I understand that more than you know." We talked about books, about music, about life. When the barbecue ended, I asked if she wanted to get coffee sometime. "I'd like that," she said. We started dating slowly. I was honest with her from the beginning about what I'd been through. I told her about my parents, about the fraud, about everything. I expected her to run. Instead, she listened. "That must have been terrifying," she said. "But look at you now. You survived. You rebuilt. That takes incredible strength." I don't feel strong. Strength isn't about not feeling pain. It's about continuing despite the pain. You're one of the strongest people I've met. Rachel became an important part of my healing. She didn't try to fix me. She just walked beside me while I fixed myself. We took things slow, no pressure, no expectations, just honest connection. I received letters from prison. 3 letters, actually. 1 from each of them. My mother's letter was full of apologies and excuses. I never meant for things to go this far. I was trying to help Madison. I didn't realize how much it would hurt you. Please forgive me. Please visit. My father's letter was more defensive. What we did wasn't that different from what lots of families do. We helped each other. Yes, we made mistakes, but the punishment doesn't fit the crime. 5 years is excessive. I hope you can find it in your heart to understand we were just trying to help your sister. Madison's letter was different. "Jesse, I don't expect you to forgive me. I participated in destroying your life. I knew it wasn't right, but I went along with it because it benefited me. That makes me selfish, entitled, and cruel. I stole from you. I watched you suffer. I did nothing to help. You don't owe me anything, not even a response to this letter. But I want you to know I'm truly sorry. I'm using my time here to figure out who I am without Mom and Dad manipulating me. I'm learning I don't like who I became. I hope someday I can be someone Emma can be proud of. And maybe, in 20 years or 30 years, I can apologize to you in person and mean it even more than I mean it now. But I understand if you never want to see me again. I read all 3 letters multiple times. I thought about responding. I drafted replies in my head. But in the end, I didn't send anything. Not yet. Maybe not ever. And I realized that was okay. Forgiveness is personal, Dr. Reynolds told me. It's on your timeline. You don't owe anyone forgiveness, especially not people who deeply harmed you. Even if they're family. Maybe you'll forgive them one day. Maybe you won't. Both are valid choices. I decided not to visit them in prison. Not now. Maybe never. They made their choices. They had to live with the consequences. I had to focus on my own healing, not their redemption. One afternoon, I was driving past my old apartment building, the place I lived before everything fell apart. I parked across the street and just looked at it. I remembered who I was back then. Naive, trusting, believing family meant unconditional love and support. I wasn't that person anymore. I'd lost that innocence, but I'd gained something else. Clarity, strength, self-respect, boundaries. I'd lost a family that used me, but I'd gained a chosen family that respected me. Danny, Rachel, Tyler, and Emma, Patricia, even Agent Torres, who still checked in occasionally to see how I was doing. I realized something sitting there in my car. I was different now, harder in some ways, but also more whole. I knew my worth. I knew what I'd accept and what I wouldn't. I knew family wasn't about blood. It was about who showed up when things got hard. Later that week, I was in Patricia's office signing papers for a small investment property I was buying with some of the settlement money, a duplex. I'd live in one unit and rent out the other, building real financial security this time. The smart way. You're doing well, Jesse, Patricia said. Not just financially, you're healing. I can see it. I'm trying. You're succeeding. Not everyone comes back from what you went through. Some people never recover, but you fought back. You chose yourself. That's powerful. Danny was there too. He'd come to celebrate the closing. Rachel brought champagne. Tyler brought Emma, who was now walking and babbling constantly. We stood around Patricia's conference table, 4 adults and 1 baby, toasting to new beginnings. To Jesse, Danny said, for refusing to stay broken. We clinked glasses. Emma laughed and clapped her hands. I looked around at these people, my real family, the people who chose to support me when I had nothing, the people who saw my value even when I couldn't see it myself. Rachel squeezed my hand. What are you thinking? I'm thinking about how different my life is now. Better or worse? Different. In some ways better. I know who I am now. I know what I'm worth. I know I can survive anything. Later that evening, I sat in my condo alone. Emma was asleep in the travel crib Tyler had brought over. Tyler and Rachel had left. Danny had gone home. It was quiet. I opened my laptop and started typing. Dr. Reynolds had suggested I write out what I'd learned from all of this. Not for anyone else, just for me. A way to process and integrate the experience. I wrote for an hour. These were the lessons. Family doesn't mean unconditional access to hurt you. Blood relation doesn't grant permission to abuse, exploit, or destroy. Being family means treating each other with respect, honesty, and care. If they're not doing that, they're not acting like family. Being the responsible one doesn't mean being a doormat. For years, I thought being responsible meant taking care of everyone else, never asking for help, always being the reliable one. I learned that's not responsibility. That's self-sacrifice to the point of self-destruction. Real responsibility includes protecting yourself. Forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation. I can forgive someone for my own peace, while still choosing not to have them in my life. Forgiveness is about releasing my own anger and pain. Reconciliation is about rebuilding trust. They're not the same thing. One doesn't require the other. You can love people from a distance. I might always love my parents and sister in some way. They raised me. We have history. But love doesn't mean access. Love doesn't mean allowing them to hurt me again. I can wish them well from far away, while protecting myself. Sometimes fighting back is the only option. I tried to be understanding. I tried to find peaceful solutions. I tried to protect my family from consequences. None of it worked. Sometimes you have to fight. Sometimes you have to protect yourself, even if it hurts others. That's not wrong. That's survival. Rock bottom can be a foundation to rebuild. I lost everything. Job, home, savings, relationship, family, health. I lived in my car. I ate from soup kitchens. I hit absolute rock bottom. But that bottom became solid ground. I rebuilt from there, and what I built is stronger because I know it's truly mine. You're not defined by what was done to you, but by how you respond. My parents committed fraud. That's their choice, their action, their shame. My response was to fight back, to rebuild, to refuse to be destroyed. That's my choice, my action, my strength. Chosen family can be stronger than blood family. Danny barely knew me and took me in. Rachel chose to love me despite my baggage. Tyler chose to include me in Emma's life. Patricia chose to fight for me. These people chose me. That's more powerful than blood relation could ever be. Financial abuse is real abuse. For too long, I minimized what happened. I told myself it was just family drama, just money problems. But it wasn't. It was abuse. Deliberate, calculated, cruel abuse. Recognizing that was essential to healing. You don't owe anyone your peace. My parents wanted me to forgive them, to visit them, to make them feel better about what they did. I don't owe them that. I don't owe anyone my peace, my time, my energy, or my forgiveness. My peace is mine to protect. I saved the document. These were my lessons. Hard-earned, painful, but true. I looked at Emma sleeping peacefully in the crib, her whole life ahead of her. I made a silent promise to her. I'll make sure you grow up knowing your worth. Nobody will ever use you. Nobody will exploit you. You'll know the difference between love and manipulation. You'll know that family means respect, not obligation. You'll grow up safe and valued and strong. Emma stirred and opened her eyes. She saw me and smiled. That big, innocent baby smile that knows nothing of the darkness that brought us to this moment. I picked her up and held her. "You're going to be okay," I whispered. "We both are." And for the first time in over a year, I truly believed it. My life wasn't what I'd planned. I'd lost years to this nightmare. I'd lost money, opportunity, relationships, innocence. But I'd gained something too. I'd gained myself. The real version of myself. Not the people-pleasing, family-accommodating version I'd been before. The strong, boundaried, self-respecting version I'd become. My parents thought they were using me as a tool to help Madison. Instead, they created someone who wouldn't be used ever again. They thought they were taking advantage of the responsible son who would just handle it. Instead, they taught me that sometimes the responsible choice is to fight back. I won, not because I destroyed them, though I did. I won because I refused to let them destroy me. I won because I survived. I won because I rebuilt. I won because I'm sitting here in my own home, with people I love, with Emma in my arms, with a future that's mine. That's the real victory. Not the settlement money, though that helped. Not the prison sentences, though justice mattered. The real victory was choosing myself, choosing my life, choosing my peace over their comfort. I looked around my condo, small but mine, peaceful, safe. I thought about tomorrow, work with Danny, dinner with Rachel, weekend plans with Tyler and Emma, Dr. Reynolds on Tuesday. My life now. Not perfect, but honest. Not easy, but mine. The nightmare was over. My life was beginning, and this time, it was on my terms. Here's my question for you. Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and protecting yourself? What did you choose, and how did you find peace with that decision? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories about overcoming life's toughest challenges. Share this with anyone who might need to hear that it's okay to fight back. It's okay to choose yourself, and it's okay to rebuild. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that no matter how dark things get, there's always a way forward. Stay strong, protect your peace, and remember that you deserve better than people who use you. Take care.